दोस्तों, in this video we are going to do features of Indian Constitution. Some important question of 1 marks, 2 marks and 4 marks. Questions and answers. Let us begin with the first question. First question is, which assembly had made the Constitution of India? Answer is Constituent Assembly. Who was the chairman of Constituent Assembly? Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Who was the chairman of Drafting Committee of Constituent Assembly? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. When was Constitution of India enforced? 26 January, 26 January 1950. How many articles are there in the Indian Constitution? There are 395 articles at the commencement and 448 currently. It is included sub-articles. For example, 51A and so. Write down any two features of Indian Constitution. So two features are: Constitution starts with preamble, and number 2, it is partly rigid and partly flexible. Next question is, what is the influence of British Constitution on the Constitution of India? Answer is, parliamentary form of government is borrowed from British Constitution. Next question, what is the impact of Irish Constitution on the Constitution of India? Answer is, directive principles of state policy have been borrowed from the Irish Constitution. Next question, what is the minimum age limit to get ready to vote in India? To get right to vote, that is 18 years. Next, in which part of the Indian Constitution directive principle of state policy have been included? Directive principle of state policy. This is in part 4, not part 4A. Part 4, चौथे पार्ट में 4A में ड्यूटीज़ है, करेक्शन यहाँ पे है, राइट? 4A में ड्यूटीज़ है. 2 marks questions and answers. Under which article directive principles of state policy have been included? Article 36 to 51. What is the impact of German Constitution on the Constitution of India? Fundamental rights are suspended during emergency. This has been borrowed from the Constitution, German Constitution, Weimar Constitution. Fundamental rights suspended, यानी कि emergency power से related borrowings है. In which part of Indian Constitution fundamental rights have been included? It is in part 3. By which constitutional amendment fundamental duties were included in the Constitution of India? 42nd Amendment in 1976. What is the official language of the Union? Hindi is the official language of the Union. In which article of the Constitution the method of amendment of the Constitution is mentioned? It is Article 368, Part 20. Which are the two houses of Union Parliament? Under Article 79, two houses of Parliament are House of People and Council of States. House of People and Council of States. House of People means Lok Sabha, Council of State means Rajya Sabha. Next question is, write down any two fundamental duties included in the Indian Constitution. Number 1 is to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, and the national flag and the national anthem. And number 2 is cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Next question is, write down any two fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. Right to equality, number 1, and right to freedom, number 2. We are proud of the fact that our Constitution is the bulkiest in the world. Whose statement is this? H.V. Kamath, Shri H.V. Kamath. Marks, 4 marks question answers. Who enacted the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India was made by or enacted by the Constituent Assembly, which was established according to the Cabinet Mission. There were 389 members in the Constituent Assembly. The first meeting was held on 9 December 1946. Second meeting was held in 11 December 1946, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was selected as chairman. The objective resolution was passed on 13th December 1946. Uh, 1946 by Jawaharlal Nehru, August. It was presented, in fact, and it was passed on 21 or 22 January 1947. Correction to be noted here. Just check it out, dear students, and comment on this whether this is right or wrong. On 29th August 1947, a 7-member drafting committee was established under the leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. On 26 November 1949, the Constitution was adopted and it came into force on 26 January 1950. Write down the number of the articles, schedules, and the parts in the Indian Constitution. So there are 395 articles, 5 parts, and 12 schedules. If initially we talk about 395 articles, in the beginning 22 parts and 8 schedules were there. Now it has 448 articles, 25 parts, including subparts, and 12 schedules. Write down any 4 salient features of the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution is the longest and detailed constitution, most detailed constitution in the world, and it is partly rigid, partly flexible. It is sovereign, social, secular, democratic republic. Establishes sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Parliamentary type of government, and federal in the form of unity in nature or spirit. Write down any 4 factors responsible for Indian Constitution being most detailed. And this is one constitution both for central and state. There is detailed explanation of the fundamental rights in part 3. Detailed description of directive principles of state policy in part 4 of the Constitution, and there is detailed explanation of emergency provision under Article 352 to 360. Write down the fundamental rights included in the Indian Constitution. Fundamental rights are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to religious freedom, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Write any 4 characteristics of parliamentary government included in the Constitution. Answer. The head of the state holds a ceremonial position and is nominal executive. For example, the president. Then in India, the head of the government is the Prime Minister, who is the real executive. Article 75 of the Indian Constitution provides for Prime Minister to be appointed by the President. According to Article 74, the Prime Minister head Council of Ministers would aid and advise the President in exercise of his function. Next question is the executive form. Next point is the executive forms of a part of legislature. In India, the person should be a member of parliament to become a member of executive. Then the party which wins majority seats in the election of lower house form the government. The lower house did that. In India, the president invites the leader of the majority party in Lok Sabha to form government. Write the influence of constitution of other countries on the Indian Constitution. Following features have been borrowed from the constitution of other countries: Britain, parliamentary government, rule of law; Ireland, active principles of state policy; United States of America, fundamental rights and independence of judiciary; Canada, centrifugal form of federalism, where the center is stronger than the states; USSR, fundamental duties. How the Indian Constitution is a mixture of rigidity and flexibility. A flexible constitution can be amended by ordinary law-making exercise, while a rigid constitution can be amended by a very difficult and special procedure. As regards to the Indian Constitution, it strikes a balance between the rigidity and flexibility. The Parliament can alter or modify many of the laws of the Constitution by a simple majority, as is required for ordinary legislation. It is flexible provision. Parliament can amend other major parts of the Constitution with special majority, as mentioned in Article 368. This process can be semi-rigid, and the amendment to the certain features affecting the federal structure of Indian states require a special majority with ratification by half of the state. It is an example of rigidity. What do you mean by single citizenship? Although the Constitution makes agreement for federal structure, the existence of central and state, but the Constitution of India gives single citizenship to the people of the country. All the people, irrespective of the states, territories in which they reside, are the president of the country, are the citizens of the country. This is unlike USA, where a citizen is citizen of USA and the state is which she resides. This concept of single citizenship is borrowed from British Constitution. What do you mean by rule of law? The concept of rule of law is that state is governed not by the ruler or the nominated representative of the people, but by the law. The Constitution of India intended for India to be a country governed by the rule of law. It provides that the Constitution shall be supreme power in the land, and the legislative and the executive derive their authorities from the Constitution. Any law that is made by the legislature has to be in conformity with the Constitution. हर law को conformity में होना चाहिए Constitution के साथ. Then that law will survive, otherwise it will be declared null and void. Also, these are the questions from features of Indian Constitution. Hopefully you like it. So see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.